Once you have finished creating your project or your part and you are ready to render it, that means that you are ready to kind of make it look realistic. You should have firstly assigned your materials, which you can see a previous video on that. Once you've assigned your materials, you take your product and you want to put it in the kind of correct position. So if it was kind of all around like this, you'd want to kind of use this toolbar to select it, turn it around to a kind of a way of you looking at it. If you always want to keep it looking like this, and you can always right click on your home button, set current view as home and fit to view, and every time you now go back to just clicking on that home button, it will always bring you back to that view. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to File, Options, and then you want to go to Colors, and you want to give yourself a white background, or you can choose a different background if you want to, but I prefer a white background. So once I've clicked on Colors, go to Presentation and change this background image to one color, and that will change it to a white background. Okay, there we are. Now, to render it, you want to go to Environments, Inventor Studio, it's the kettle, and then Render Image, again that's the kettle. Okay, and here you've got the kind of different perspectives of your how big your file is. We're just going to bring that down a little bit smaller so that it's a little bit quicker for you, maybe not too small so you actually get an idea of what it looks like. Okay, so you can change your perspective, and then you've got, I'd leave this one as it is, and then you've got lighting style, and you've got all these different ones that you can kind of choose from. I'm gonna current lighting is really good. I want there to be a little bit more shadow, so I'm going to click Photo Booth as if there's a lot more light in there, creating a lot more shadows on your project, and you can already start to see the shadows that it's going to show. Now, when you go to Render, click Render. It will start to create a realistic image of your file, much more realistic than is in the CAD program. And you can start to see it's rendering it here, and it's going to take this taskbar all the way up to here. You can start to see now it's adding in reflections which would be there if this was really aluminium. This was not on here, so you can't see the reflections on the actual material here, but in real life, realistic, you see the reflections. You'd also see the reflections of the wood here, the wood grain, and this wood tends to look a lot better as well. Now once that's got all the way up to here, you have this button here which is Save the Rendered Image, and that will give you a PNG. It's not a JPEG, it's a PNG file which you can save. I'm not going to wait for that to finish from the video. Other things that you might like to do which are quite nice is you might just change your perspective. So you might render an image that looks like this. So you can go back to Render and you can try doing that, rendering that image, and that will give you that kind of image. So you might choose to pick an image like that. Okay. You might even, what's really nice and what I like, I'm going to bring it right down to here. I'm going to right click on this house and then change it to perspective, and that with some images can make it really nice kind of way of looking at it, and then go back to Render Image. Now once you've done this, finish Inventor Studio. I'm going to make sure that it goes also back to orthographic, so just click off of this, wait for it to kind of finish. Maybe we're inside a tool, maybe I need to escape. But once you've gone back to all of this, there we go. I'm just going to go down to orthographic there, put that back. I want you to turn it back from not a white screen, so white screen's not nice to work with. So go to File, Options, go back to Colors, go to Winter Night and change it to Background Image or Gradient, and then Apply. And that will take you back. And this is a much nicer environment for you to create your other projects in, or other parts. Otherwise it will just save the white one. And that's the end of this tuition.